the decision to wait for a Bearcat appears to have been prudent at this time, but we are going to continue to seek some additional information on that.
I've heard reports that paramedics were then placed in tactical gear.
They did an outstanding job.
You talked about their decision on how
Yeah, they got on scene and said, "Let's go," and they were not hesitant in wanting to go up there. When they say bus, also is another term for ambulance, so they had no problem in taking those ambulances up there as close as they could to put the people in there. So they did an outstanding job. Yes.
Is there any point where we could obtain autopsy results for the shooter through a public records request, or will that be denied?
You know, you'll have to seek Coroner Johnson on that. Yeah.
In that regard, was there any visible wounds that you can describe on Rowley when he was discovered?
It appears that his wound, he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, is the only wound that was there. Yes?
Could you clarify the timeline of the initial encounter with Rowley to the time that shots were first fired?
Yes. We believe that the contact with Rowley was approximately 1:40 p.m. And then we believe that the first shot was about 1:49 p.m. And it was one right after another in milliseconds. Yes.
Another quick question, I apologize. So when the shots were fired, there was no reports before Fritz went up there to check because he couldn't get him on the radio. There was no reports of shots fired prior to the Fritz going up the hill.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why Fritz went up the hill. That is exactly why. And
because he had no radio time.
right.
Okay.
And yeah.
There's a lady right here who has a question.
Okay. What's your question, Kay?
Thanks, Sheriff. Firstly, was the shotgun the only weapon recovered from the scene?
No. There was a 22 caliber rifle that was recovered in his vehicle.
And who were the weapons registered to?
The suspect legally purchased that weapon.
And just a point of clarity, was he at any point in a tree? Do we know for sure one way or the other?
We wouldn't know. Yeah, we wouldn't know. I want you to kind of understand, what's going on. And unless you've never had that metal taste in your mouth, and unless you've never had your life flash in front of you, as these deputies and Coeur d'Alene police officers are going up there, they're throwing smoke grenades to be able to conceal themselves as they're putting themselves to extract these two live firefighters. You got smoke from the fire, you got smoke from the smoke grenades, and they're trying to assess all the way around them from a 360-degree angle on where to shoot and what to shoot, where to defend. So, do I know if those police officers and deputy sheriffs knew that he had an arborist background? I don't know if they knew that at the time, but certainly when you're going in there, you're evaluating all the risk, and somebody being in a tree that has high ground is certainly something that should be considered. So those are the things that are occurring when these critical incidents are happening. It's not like in the movies. There's a reaction from our public safety people that are going in there. And so we have to counter, strategize. What are the risks? What are the likely risks? What are the most prominent risks? So,
You just introduced something I want to support. So
Sure.
when they went up, was it deputies and paramedics to go extract?
now three deputies, one Coeur d'Alene police officer. I believe another Coeur d'Alene police officer was the driver
In the barricade.
in the civilian vehicle, armored vehicle.
They get out, they were throwing smoke grenades ahead of them?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then did they take rounds as they're throwing the snow?
So, the one of the deputies that were on scene who went up there, he did report that was receiving fire.
As they're trying to get to the bottom.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not so sure. He's reporting that he's receiving fire. At what point in time during that extraction? Was it 10 seconds into it, 30 seconds into it? I don't know.
So the progression, they get up there, the three deputies, the one CDA police officer, the other CDA police officer's driver, with the paramedics behind them? Did
No,
they try
not
to-
yet. We
Okay.
not yet. So we want to assess that situation because the geography of it was just very, very high risk.
And do we know how long it was before they assessed, before they could get paramedics in?
There was about 20 minutes before, about 22 minutes before the Bearcat arrived, and then proceeded to that parking lot area.
And you guys knew at the time that Tisdale was injured. Was there a worry that we need to get to him quickly because of his injury?
You know, was there radio traffic from Tisdale?
He was providing some updates about what the status of everybody was.
Right. Okay. So so that will be part of our review of this whole event. I do know that when Fritz said that everybody shot up here, that certainly went out as a broadcast. When Fritz said, "Hey, everybody is shot up here." When Fritz got up to the scene, he thought there was something wrong with the truck, so he thought they were working on the truck, and then he realized that they were not working on the truck.
Is there any video or audio of the confrontation between Rowley and the firefighters that hasn't been released?
There is some video. I'm sorry. There is some audio. We're being told by the city of Coeur d'Alene that that video is corrupt, but the audio does work. So we, our investigators, are contacting the manufacturer to see if we can uncorrupt it.
And then has the coroner put an estimated time of death on Rowley? Do we know at what point he killed himself?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask Coroner Johnson on that one. Yes, ma'am.
Going back to the drawings and photos from Rowley, has the investigation revealed when those drawings were made in proximity to him going into the fire station?
There's really no way to tell. Yeah, it's unknown. Yeah, unknown. The letter he says tomorrow, so one can assume that that was the day before in the letter. So,
Hi, Sheriff. Is the investigation looking at Wes Rowley's medical records, any indication of just state of mind prior, and if so, what has that indicated since?
we've had communication with family members, and family members describe Rowley as their description, not mine, that he was diagnosed with ADHD at an early age and not treated, that he was described as using marijuana up until recently. He had attempted to stop. He moved to the area, what we and they recall, about March of 2024 to the Bonner County, and then came here to Kootenai County, and our interaction started with him about in April of 2024.
So no formal treatment of the ADHD.
Not that we're being told. Yes.
Point of clarification for captioning on the what looked like dash cam footage when I think it was a fire engine approached to the Ford Ranger. Can you describe what we're actually seeing there?
Yeah, that was a brush truck, and from what I understand, a brush truck is to fight small brush type fires and carries about 1,000 gallons, 800 gallons of water, 400 gallons, about 400 gallons of water, and they're described as a brush truck.
It looked like there was maybe a firefighter or an officer or somebody walking away from the Ford Ranger.
Yes.
With his back to it. Can you
That was
identify what that is?
that's Dave Tisdale.
Okay.
So when the brush truck, the video shows coming into the parking lot, it looks like Rowley's truck is the last one in the lot,
Yep.
and Tisdale's walking back from Rowley, correct?
Yeah, so the truck is originally parked closer to the gate. So firefighter Tisdale goes up and has a conversation. He goes over there and unlocks the gate and opens the gate. John Morrison also arrives on scene, and he says, "Hey, can you move your truck?" The conversation was confrontational in nature, and then he moves the truck. So then he does move the truck from closer to the gate was, and then parks it closer to the BC vehicles.
I apologize.
No,
So
no, you're good.
The video, is that after he moved the truck then?
It may, so the front video could be not before he moved the truck. That was where the truck was at the gate. But so there's a video on the front and video on the back. So he may have moved the vehicle as the brush truck was moving on that road. So then you see the rear video that the truck is moved. Does that make sense? So the brush truck's coming up. You have, Mark, can you bring that up again? The brush truck has a video up in front. And you'll see the vehicle, his truck, a black Ford Ranger, that's parked closer to the gate.
So can we stop right there? So Dave just walking toward us,
Yep.
and that's Rowley standing by his truck?
Correct.
And at this point, is that truck been moved, or is that where they were asking?
That's where the truck was at.
Already moved, or where they're asking him to move?
No, that had not been moved yet.
Oh, okay. And we don't know how much longer from this video. Is it timestamp? 13:38. And so maybe 10 minutes later from the shots fired?
Approximately 10 minutes later, yes.
And do we know who's in the truck as the videos?
I don't know, and I didn't, for the purpose of this press conference, I didn't ask who was driving the truck.
But initially, there was only 3, right? It was Dave, Frank, and John.
No. There's additional firefighters on scene. You see there's a fire engine, people hop into the truck and they go up the hill to fight the fire.
So there were firefighters up the hill when all this took place?
Correct.
Had to stay in place, and they had no idea what happened behind them, or?
They eventually know.
Yeah.
And you hear Deputy Ballman and Deputy Brock also say, hey, we might have other fire personnel up higher on the mountain, but they're not sure yet.
And then at this moment, do we know where those other 4 citizens were, or were they up the hill, or we don't know?
As you can tell from the video, there's citizens all over the mountain at this point, so they're everywhere.
All right, we're going to take one more question. So go ahead.
Just real quick, earlier you had said that the suspect was shooting from as close as 10 feet away. Is that
Correct.
Could you expand on that a little bit? 'Cause
No, we're not going to expand on that. Yeah.
So what was the question? I couldn't hear what the question was.
So, I see some smirks on some people's faces when I answered that. We have children that live in this community of these firefighters. We're not going to get into any details of proximity and what have you. And I said that at the beginning of this press conference. They have children that go to school here. We're not going to answer some of those questions. Okay? Thank you very much. This concludes the press conference.